Yeah, that's gone, isn't it? Summer's over. Winter's here. Ha ha ha, woohoo. But while people like me don't really like winter at all, like none, it can serve a purpose. It can be that time for you to really knuckle down into your training and be smart about it. And I'm talking about perhaps you periodise, perhaps you reverse periodise. If you need to know what the difference is, there's a video here for that. But you're always going to work on your base at some stage and to some level over the winter. So what I'm going to give you in this video, what you're going to get out of it is how you focus on your base and how you really get the most out of all of your sessions to make sure that you are properly training your base. That's the first thing you're going to get. The second thing you're going to get is an introduction to a competition that I'm running for the 2021 season, starting on the 1st of January, where one subscriber is going to get a season's worth of free coaching from me. Level 3 high performance triathlon coach, usually worth over £1,000, and I'm going to give that away for free to one person. And I'll tell you how you're going to qualify for that at the end of this video, but a little hint, one of the things is that you've got to be subscribed to this channel and you've got to follow us on Instagram. So before we actually talk about how you stay in your aerobic base zone, why don't we quickly touch on what actually is your aerobic base? And it's pretty simple. It's your body's efficiency at taking in oxygen from the world around us, transporting it via the bloodstream to the working muscles to help them, and then removing waste products. That's your aerobic base, and in theory, the bigger and better your aerobic base, then the more able you are to put things on top, like your speed work, like your tempo work. So a friend of mine once said, and think of it like this, you can't fire a cannon from a canoe. If you want to put the real hard speed work, the stuff that will count at the end of the race, or the stuff that will get you running faster in general, you've got to have the base underneath it to be able to do that. And staying in the base zone is not as easy as you would think. You see, the way I think that effort works and how we perceive it and our base training is this. Here's 1, here's 10, and here's 5 or 6, which is where we need to be. Now, what we actually think is our base zones, we are around here, 7 or 8. Where we actually need to be is here, 5 or 6. That is almost always the case, and we have to work out how we get from here to here, and we have to use a few little tricks and tips. First of all, let's compare a few videos of me filming, and I will talk you through in what zones I am while I'm filming these videos, and you'll see the difference really, really clearly and really, really quickly. Here's me running a half marathon, and as you can see, I'm pretty clearly talking as I'm going. I'm not in my anaerobic zone, I'm not pushing to my maximum, but neither am I in my base zone because my sentences are fragmented. What about this one here? This is me running a 10k. Does it look like I'm very able to talk, if at all? Not really. This was a real struggle, and I find 10k's really, really painful, certainly towards the end. Definitely not able to talk there. And what about this 5k? Yeah. There ain't no talking there, there is just filming. That is clearly not my base zones. So how can I best convey to you how you stay in a base zone? I've kind of got 4 techniques that vary in terms of cost and in terms of experience. So the number one way, and it is a costly way, I'll be honest with you, the number one way to find out if you're in your base zones is to purchase yourself cha-ching, or although that one was sent to me, I haven't purchased that, I've got to send it back. But get yourself a GPS running watch. They have, the newer ones have wrist heart rate straps, or I have, and I always stick by this, this is my chest monitor, my chest heart rate monitor. It's, I think, a better way of monitoring your heart rate, and it links up with my watch. So while I'm out running, I am able to see which heart rate zone I'm in at any given time. It is gold dust because, as we said a little bit earlier, you often think that you're in a lower zone than you are. But here's the thing, if you're new to running or you're not flush with cash, then that might not be an option. The heart rate monitor, the watch, they might not be an option, and that's absolutely fine because there are 3 other ways that you can use to make sure that you stay in your base zones. And the first one is called RPE, or Rating of Perceived Exertion. Very old video that I made a long time ago here, but essentially it's a scale of 1 to 10 if you want it to be, with 1 being you're asleep and 10 being a flat out sprint. And if you want to stay in your base zones, then you need to be around 5 or 6 out of 10 maximum. You don't want to go above that. And you start working on different energy systems, and that's not what you want, because you want to build your big juicy base. If you go above your base, you start working on other things altogether. So I guess what you're going to be asking me is, how can you help yourself stay in that zone, in those base zones, if you don't have your heart rate monitor, if you don't have a watch? These are the 2 best pieces of advice I can give you, and they have come from plenty of conversations with coaches, and I just happened upon this one phrase, and the phrase that I used to title the video a while ago, really not long ago. But if you really want to be able to stay in the zones, you've got to be out there feeling guilty, feeling like you should be running faster and you want to run faster, but you've got to hold yourself back. So it's that run guilty feeling that should see you be in the correct zone to work your base. And it's a horrible feeling actually, because we're all capable of running faster. But the real smart trainers, the people that train smart, are the ones that know they could run faster. However, they know if they also build a big base, something underneath, that eventually they will be able to run faster, and not in training, in a race. And what you might ask is, would I still get faster if I didn't work on base, if I didn't stick in my aerobic zones? And yeah, you will. You will get faster to a point, but there will be a limit that you can get to without having that big juicy base underneath. I know I said you can't fire a cannon from a canoe, but my saying that I like is, it's probably the difference between doing a press up on a beanbag, if you've ever tried that, that's with no good base underneath you, or doing a press up on hard ground, that's with a good base. The difference in power you're able to put in through those press ups when you've got a stable base is the same with the amount of hard work, the higher tempo, the higher intensity work. You can do that more effectively when you've got a good base aerobically underneath you. And that's the difference. And that's why it's important to be smart with your training and actually use the time really, really wisely, because a lot of us go out and we use junk miles. And junk miles is just the phrase I use for when you're not training in your highest zones, you're not doing high intensity interval sessions working on your lactate threshold or your anaerobic threshold, and you're not doing your base sessions because you're running harder than you should because you're not paying attention, then you're in the junk zone where really there's minimal physiological benefit on either side and you're just wasting your time. So you could do an hour in your middle zones and that hour is pretty much wasted, or you could do an hour in your base zone and use that time. In fact, you could probably do 45 minutes, 40 minutes in your base zone less, but get much more benefit than you were to do an hour at zone 3. Think about that. So next time you go out and you want to work on your aerobic base, trust me, feel guilty. It feels horrible to start with, it feels great afterwards, and you feel smug that you did the right thing. And if you need to know how to calculate your heart rate zones, here's a video here. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, shut up, tell me about the competition, tell me where I can get something for free. I would be thinking probably the same thing if I'd listened to me for as long as I just have. So I'm launching the This Messy Happy Empowerment Initiative, and really what that is saying is I'm giving you the chance to be coached by me for the 2021 season completely for free, in the hope that by the end of our relationship in that coaching environment, you'll be able to coach yourself moving forwards after that relationship ends in a coaching way. That's what I want for everyone. That's what I want for everyone watching these videos, is that eventually you'll have enough knowledge that you can coach yourself and you can really get the most out of yourself. And in the meantime, obviously I'm going to be here putting out content to help. So the full rules of the competition will be coming soon in a completely individual video launching it, and it will start on the 1st of January, the actual coaching. But let me tell you now, the first thing that you need to do is you need to be subscribed to the channel and you need to follow us on Instagram. There is more to come. It's not much more. It's not onerous. It's not a really hard task. You don't have to pass a quiz. You certainly don't need to do a test, but there's a couple of more bits. And you might be asking, what do I get out of it? Well, I just get to expand my sphere of influence, if you like. I'm not looking to make money here. What I'm aiming to do is help more people, so you can help me, help others, and help you. That's the aim. Now, probably like you, I need to go back to daydreaming about summer training. Oh my god, I can't even daydream about it anymore. I'm ruined. Alright, watch this video about something to do with summer. I don't even know what I'm going to put here yet, but it'll be a summary video and it'll hopefully be quite happy.